Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Kim.
And I'm MJ Lorenzo, and we are two sixth-grade students from the International School of Manila.
We have prepared this presentation because we realize that plastic has a huge impact on the environment, animals, and human beings.
We've been using as much plastic as possible since we discovered it, and we think that it's time to stop for a moment and think about what we've been doing all these years.
Our group has agreed that new policies need to be put into place so all countries produce and use less plastic.
Plastic is a name for a whole range of substances that are made up of polymers. 90% of plastic is made up of petroleum, which is a non-renewable resource. A lot of people use plastic, old, young, rich, or poor, but someone uses plastic at least once in their life.
But most people need plastic because it is used on a daily basis for items such as toothbrushes, clothing, fabric, computers, etc. But the impact plastic has on the earth and its inhabitants is horrible. For example,
have you ever heard of the giant Pacific Ocean? Well, it's twice the size of Texas, and there's 6 times as much plastic than plankton there. The animals living around the area mistake the plastic for food, eat the plastic, and end up dying due to the blockage in their digestive systems.
the plastic in the gyre absorbs, transports, and releases hydrophobic pollutants, not only harming the ocean's food chain, but affecting us as well with diseases, infertility, etc.
93% of individuals 6 years and older's urine contain BPA, a chemical used in the manufacture of some plastics.
There is some concern about exposure to BPA leading to developmental changes to infants and children. The primary consumers of the marine food chain like copepods mistake some plastic products for food and end up having plastic in their bodies. The secondary consumers might also mistake the plastic for food, and they also eat the primary consumers with plastic, so the level of plastic in their bodies increase.
If this goes on, then the digestive system will get clogged, so all the populations in the marine food chain will decrease. More stores should sell reusable bags and use the money they make from selling the bags to spend on nature. We shouldn't just throw our trash outside when we're done with them, especially plastic products, because there's a high chance that it will end up in the Great Giant, the Pacific Ocean. And we all know that plastic takes about 500 years to decompose, so it will be stuck there for a long amount of time.
Since we'll have a rule or a law on littering plastic, people won't throw out plastic bags, so they won't end up in oceans by the wind currents, so less animals would mistake the plastic for food.
Here are some stats about plastic. 63 pounds of plastic packaging per person end up in landfills every year in the U.S. Plastic accounts for 16% of all solid waste in the U.S. and 50 to 80% of the waste litters beaches, oceans, and seabeds.
There's conflict between countries who have oil with the people buying it, because even though they're selling a lot of oil in Nigeria, the sellers are not getting enough money, so they keep staying poor.
There should be fair trade, and buyers should give more money so they can support their families.
However, if you cooperate, there will be a better result in the economy and the society, because they're earning money and also developing a friendship or a tie with different nations.
We could limit the amount of petroleum being extracted and sold at a higher price, so you won't be wasting oil and the sellers will be able to come out of poverty.
Plastic does have its downside, but there are some benefits of plastic, like making products with recycled materials take 50% less energy than starting from scratch, and packaging beverages in plastic uses an estimated 52% less energy than packaging them in glass or metal.
Some more stats about plastics. Australians spend more than $500 million a year on bottled water. Last year, the sale of bottled water increased by 10%. Producing and delivering a liter of water can emit hundreds of times more greenhouse gases than a liter of tap water. Drinking one bottle of water has the same environmental impact as driving a car for a kilometer.
As you can see, this is a graph explaining the sales, wasting, and the recycling of PET plastic bottles all around the world. Over the years, the plastic bottle sales increased as well as the wasting. However, the recycling of the plastic bottles hardly changed. So if you want to keep using plastic bottles, we'll have to limit the amount of production and consumption, while at the same time increasing the amount of recycled plastic bottles along with decreasing the waste.
Bought a total of 31.2 billion liters of bottled water in 2006. Most of these bottles were sold in PET bottles, requiring nearly 900,000 tons of plastic. This graph shows the amount of PET recycled in the U.S. You may have noticed that the U.S. only recycles 25% of all their plastic products, and considering the amount of PET they use, 25% isn't much.
We conclude that we should make new policies and still make plastic, because plastic could be a want in the consumption phase, but could be a need in both the extraction and the production phase, because people who own the businesses or work for them need to support their families and fulfill their needs.
With this being said, let's all be sustainable.